You.
It's the time he reemerges. Sorry.
You.
Me.
What the hell? Yeah, you. The hell'd you give me?
It's showtime, folks.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Into the Music. My name is John. His name is Greg, and we're here to listen to some tunes. I've got a fantastic little ditty for Greg, and I know he loves his little ditties. But before we get into that, just a little reminder, if you do like this song, please hit the like button. And also, if you haven't yet subscribed, what are you thinking? Come on. You don't want to miss out. So, that said, Greg, are you ready for another assault on your eardrums?
Yeah. Well, I don't the way you put it. Not really, but I guess I have no choice.
Exactly.
All right.
Some would say you
it.
had it coming, yes. The band is called the Chameleons. Have you heard of them?
I've heard of the band. I've heard of stuff. I don't know if I've done a song yet on this channel. I don't think, but you know why? Because that group has been dropped. That name has been dropped.
Events have been dropped,
a lot of times. And I've actually on my own checked out some Chameleons. I think I have maybe a couple of songs. So you got to give me the song because even though you'll probably, because I suck at song titles, everyone go through the last 700 Into the Music videos, and it's well documented. So if you say it, I may still F up on it. Give me the song.
Nostalgia.
I don't think so. They have a really cool sound. Yeah, they go back some years, but you just made me happy. All right, cool. Bar's going up now. Just this better be good.
Absorbing your words, battles raging within me. Absorbing your words is gradually tearing my
Early 90s, that's my initial guess. It's good.
Despite my favorite hopes to share my nostalgia with you. There isn't time to stand still. We are constantly changing. You're draining my will. I find myself rearranging my points of view. There isn't much I can do. Despite my favorite house too, share my nostalgia with you. Tomorrow I remember yesterday. Tomorrow I remember yesterday. Tomorrow I remember yesterday. Tomorrow I remember yesterday.
Like that guitar. What's that instrument way in the back? The guitar. Bop, 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 bop. Something like being banged. Yeah. This is cool. This is a really good sound. Again, early 90s. I like the vocals. I like the cadence, the way he's singing it. Yeah, this is really cool. This is right up my alley.
Whatever lies in my past, or what is yet in the future, time passes so fast. Suppose as always the danger I won't pull through. I've had to think this thing through. Despite my failure helps to share my nostalgia with you. Tomorrow I'll remember yesterday. Tomorrow I'll remember yesterday. Tomorrow I'll remember yesterday. Tomorrow I'll remember yesterday.
That guitar line is like intoxicating. It really is. You get lost in it, and it's repetitive. So it just basically entrances you. And that's not a bad thing. Oh, change up. Driving bass. I'm still sticking with early 90s, but the more I heard his voice, it could be actually in the 80s, sometime in the 80s. Yeah, and it was that kind of style. I would actually label this like a new wave song, stuff that I was getting into way, 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 way long ago. But yeah, this is a rocker. It's like a new wave rocker. You know, um, just that guitar riff. It just didn't quit. And as I said before, it's repetitive, but that's a good thing because if it's good, and you're building a song around it, like a real good structured song, with lyrics, good vocals, instrumentation supporting it. Um, it's just a win. It's a win for the band, a win for the audience, win-win. Um, Win for me. In my reaction. This is a really good first reaction. This is a good one from John. Let's go talk with him. You.
It's the time he reemerges. Sorry.
You.
Me.
What the hell? You. The hell did you give me? You gave me something amazing.
Yeah.
I love the song.
It's
Loved
great,
it.
isn't it?
Loved it. It's right up my alley. I mean, it brought back memories, even though, and it's funny because I'm starting to get cold feet on what I had said. I said it a couple of times. Um, in the early part of the reaction, I'm like, I think this is a 90s song. I think the guitars, even though some of it sounded a little bit, it could have been 80s, but I'm like, you know what? I think it's kind of early 90s. And so then at one point I kind of stopped it again to say something about whatever. And I'm like, I still say it's an early 90s band, but then I go, but his voice, the more I heard his voice, it started making me think about like 80s. That new wave, that new wave sound that I was just absolutely swimming in, almost the whole entire 80s going to early 90s. That voice, it started making me think maybe it's more like, mid to late 80s. So I don't know. So you know what? Give me the year.
1983.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know, something about the guitar. Because I mean, he said that da 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 da. Da, da, that's the melody. That's what he's
Yeah.
singing. Jan, 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 jan,
Yeah, that's
jan,
it.
jan, jan, jan.
Well,
Jan,
I
jan,
mean,
jan, jan. It was just, I don't know. Wow. So it was 80s. That early.
yeah, well, you won't be surprised to know that many Britpop bands have name-checked the Chameleons as huge influences, such as Oasis and The Verve, and even Interpol. They've
How about
all said,
replacements? How about the replacements? Because that guitar sounds a lot like some replacement songs. The guitar, not the voice, but the guitar. It just had that jan, 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 jan. Except then there was a part of this, then there was the song also where there was that one part, and then we kick into where then he was just hitting notes. Yeah, that's not replacements, but the other, like, where it's just more of a strum and kind of like a really sort of like, I could just picture him like he's just kind of yeah, what an interesting dynamic song. Dynamic as far as like levels and areas of sound of different, like, it sounded like that, but then this sounded like that. That's really interesting, but it wasn't like, whiplash kind of thing. It was something that all went, and the guitar was the hero on this. It was just such a well played guitar song, with really good vocals. The more I heard the vocals, the more I really liked them, and that's when I started thinking, wait a minute, it started taking me more back, to when I was really getting into new wave, when it was all new. So that's really interesting. But yeah, I really like the song a lot. Let's see, just there was a really cool change up, like 3:30 in. That was really, it changed, because I did see I think it was 5 minutes and change. And I thought, okay, I don't know, this whole thing, just the same thing over and over. And they changed it up, and that was good. The drummer was really, like, from that time onward towards the end, he's like, hey, don't forget about me. Hello. Yeah. I really want to get into the lyrics. So you got to tell me what the song's about. I mean, it's named Nostalgia. So it sounds like the guy is kind of looking back, reflecting on life. He kept saying something about tomorrow, remember yesterday. So I don't know if it's something that he doesn't want to, he's looking back on things, but he doesn't want to look back so much. He wants to look forward, maybe. And so maybe he's saying tomorrow I'll look back, like, tomorrow I'm going to, go back to yesterday, not today. But then some of the things I was hearing, he was kind of already doing that. He was already sort of going back and reflecting. There's no time and not a time to stay still. Times are currently changing. You're draining my will. So I don't know if he's actually addressing this to a particular person, or maybe if it's the past. that is draining his will. It's the past that he can't let go of.
Yeah.
So I'm just throwing some stuff against the wall. But the lyrics, what he was singing about, was interesting enough to, as much as into the music, I was actually intrigued by some of the things he was singing. So I want to check that out. Overall, this is such a good song. I'm going to probably put this on a playlist. I want to go back to it. I think this will absolutely quickly grow into a favorite of mine.
Yeah, I mean, just to put it in context, my best mate is a huge Chameleons fan, and he was shoving stuff at me, 30 years ago. And this is the particular song that stuck the most. They've done some great stuff, but this one, really is. So briefly, they're a Manchester band. They're from Middleton, Greater Manchester, formed in 1981. So they are of that new wave era, and their own sort of sound develops from it. Where they're often mentioned in the kind of the same terms as the Sound as being one of the best British 80s bands that didn't hit it big and should have done. And everyone, when they ever mention the Sound, say, what about Chameleons as well? Because they're the same sort of, that same bracket.
Well, I got to stop you there. They didn't hit it big. And yet this band has been name dropped. It's been dropped in various song threads. So there is definitely popularity there,
Yes.
It's a cult-like band. Okay, cult-like following.
Yes, yeah. And I would imagine that that's only grown over the years. Just a shout out to the members of the band. Mark Burgess is a singer and bass player. I think he's got a great voice. It's very impassioned as well, which I forceful, which I love. Two guitarists are Ray Smithies and Dave Fielding, and then you got John Lever on the drums. Now the guitarist Ray Smithies also does all the artwork for the band, and when you see it, I think the thumbnail on this and other bits, it's a strong image for the band. It's great stuff. This came from a single 1985, I think, in Shreds. This is the B-side. They did 3 albums and then they split. There were some problems in the band and their manager died suddenly, I think of a coronary, in 87. And they split then. And then they reformed later in 2000 and brought another album out in 2001. And then there's various members changed, deaths and things like that. So they're still kind of going, but it's a representation of what they used to be, really. And they just play live, And I saw him doing some benefit concert for Adrian Morland, the lead singer of the Sounds. I don't know how long ago it was. It wasn't long ago, and he sang a Sound song, and he sounded fantastic. And it can't have been more than 3 or 4 years ago.
That's
so he's
great.
still not banging them out. About the song, what a lot of things they sung about, they were described as sonic architects by the music press, because the way they create these sonic landscapes with their guitars. A lot of the songs are not so forceful, but they have these shimmering guitars. His lyrics are quite often either harking back to a period of innocence, and they remember they're growing up in the North in the Thatcher years when the base, the bedrock was manufacturing in the north of England, and it was just being shut down, death by 1,000 cuts. So he was against that, and also sort of harking back to previous times and this. So I'll read you some of the lyrics from I don't know what it's about. I guess it's about nostalgia, but I haven't really dug into it. But I'll read you some of the lyrics, and then So it's absorbing your words, battles raging within me. Absorbing your words is gradually tearing my soul in two. There isn't much I could do. Despite my fears, it helps to share with my nostalgia with you. There isn't time to stand still. We are constantly changing. You're draining my will. I find myself rearranging my points of view. There isn't much I could do. Despite my fear, it helps to share my nostalgia with you. And like you say, then he goes into tomorrow, I remember yesterday. So it's this circular memory thing. And he repeats that many times.
Oh, okay, because he can't get away from the past. So it's
Yeah.
not like he's saying
So tomorrow he'll remember
he can't
yesterday,
put-
which
and
is
then-
today.
and then tomorrow he's going to say tomorrow, like he doesn't want to think about the past. Tomorrow I'll think about the past, and then tomorrow comes, and then he'll say the same thing. He is actually, he's basically caught up in a cyclical sort of,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tomorrow, remembering yesterday, is remembering today. So he's like saying we're not even living in the present.
Wow. Now he's addressing, we think he's addressing like a friend, an acquaintance, someone close to him.
I'm not
We don't-
sure. I
Yeah.
mean, is he addressing himself or the world in general?
Okay.
There's just one more verse. I'll just rip through it quickly. Whatever lies in my past or what is yet in the future, time passes so fast. Suppose there's always the danger I won't pull through. I'll have to think this thing through. Despite my fear, it helps to share my nostalgia with you. And then it's tomorrow, remember yesterday.
Mm. That's interesting though, because time goes fast, right? He said that. Sometimes that's a good thing. Usually that's a good thing. I don't know. Wow.
Interesting anyway, no matter what you make of it,
And he's writing this in 1983, so they were pretty young, right? They're still young guys at that time, and so pretty sophisticated, sort of thinking approach, and just putting some really good music, man. I like this music a lot. I'm really excited now to get into more Chameleons. So I got a couple things, like I said, and maybe you can continue helping me in this channel along that way. So to get more into this band. All right. So this is great, man. Thank you so much. John, you take care. Have a good day, night. Actually, it's really late night, right? So it's your Betty bye. So no more
No sleep
smoking.
till Brooklyn.
No more smoking or drinking. Or drinking. Shut it all down. No more. Put a cap on it. And folks out there, don't put a cap on anything. Keep on loving life and living life, the way you want to. Listen to the music you want to. Yeah, keep listening to this band, listen to anything else you want. Keep coming back into the music. We'll feed you more great songs, more great reactions, and talk. And so, but in the meantime, we will see all of you on the next episode of Into the Music.
Bye-bye.